There's nothing worse than being on a property with a client and they ask you a question about a disease or a weed or a tree issue or the type of grass they have, and you don't know how to answer the question. And just as bad, you send someone on your team out to diagnose a problem or work with a client, and they can't answer the question, and it just makes your company look foolish and maybe not as professional as your competitors. One of the easiest ways to solve this, and this is the exact problem I bumped into when I first got started in the industry, actually for the second time because I was out of the industry for quite some time. I got back in just before 2005, and when I got back in the business, prior I'd just been a high school kid mowing lawns. I didn't know my bushes, my trees, my grass. I didn't know any of that stuff 10 years ago. And so what I did is I learned my top 10 bushes, top 10 trees, top 10, I don't think it was really my top 10 flowers, it might have been. I definitely learned my top 10 weeds. I learned my top 10 of a whole bunch of stuff. I basically just memorized them. And I decided to do this after having a whole bunch of bad experiences where a client would say, point at a bush and say, hey, what's that bush? And pretty much everybody on the street had that same bush. And I couldn't tell them what it was. And I said, I'd play it off like, it just slipped. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. Well, that's really embarrassing. And so my recommendation is to apply the 80-20 rule to this. There's only so many different types of bushes. In fact, in my market, I really only need to learn 3 types of grass or turf. I only need to learn so many trees. There are probably 5 predominant types of trees. You're going to have the same thing in your market. And probably the bushes and the flowers are going to be the ones you have to learn the most of. And weeds, I would say weeds as well. But again, the 80-20 rule applies here. So if you create within your business sort of a, just print out a picture of each of these things from the web, write the name on it, sort of like a flip card. You memorize them, your team memorizes them, you bring somebody onto the team that's new, that's going to be out in the field. Make sure they know these things. If they don't know them, make them learn them like a flip card or just go through these pictures with the names on them and memorize them. It's real simple, and this could be solved in a day, and you don't put yourself in an embarrassing spot, and your team doesn't make your company look bad. And then take that idea and apply it to other aspects of the company. What is it that you can apply this 80-20 concept to? It's powerful, and it's a fast way to bring people up to speed.